Alyssa, and this is my second ever podcast, which I'm really excited to share all of my knitting things I've been working on recently, and then also some of the spinning I've done. And I even have some weaving to show today too. So I'm really excited to kind of walk through some of the project's progress and just kind of chat about all the exciting things that I am working on. So to do another introduction, my name is Alyssa Brianne Jordan, and I live here in Traverse City, Michigan. We actually had our first snow yesterday during the Halloween trick-or-treating. So I was giving out candy in my neighborhood and the flurries started to come and it was almost snowing sideways. So cold weather is upon us, and back to being able to wear some of my hand knit sweaters and things like that, which brings me a lot of joy. So today I'm actually wearing my novice sweater, which was a petite knit pattern. This was my first ever sweater I made, and I actually really enjoyed making this one. It was quite simple. You do your increases and that kind of creates these eyelets that go along, and you can kind of like see the increases, and it almost makes like a beautiful texture along the yoke. And I really love the sweater. I would knit another one of these, even like bigger or more exaggerated. I would have knit my sleeves a little longer, but actually enjoy this length when I'm working around the house and doing all my arts and projects, because the sleeves don't get in my way. So that's what I'm wearing today. I have made a little progress on my West Knits knit along. So the mystery knit along, actually the clue 4 was released and I'm still on clue 2, so a little bit behind there, but I'm really just enjoying going at my own pace with this. It's my first time doing the mystery knit along, and for me it was just more the excitement of being part of that like whole community of people working on something simultaneously, and getting to see some of the other color combinations and ways people are adapting the pattern and changing it for personalization. And so yes, last week I finished clue 2, so you can see here this is my clue 2, and I really loved working these eyelets. They were so fun. I've never done this kind of like garter ridge with eyelets but in between, and it just makes like for a very satisfying fabric. So I finished the one side, and now I picked up stitches and I am working on the other side. So you can kind of see I picked up the other edge, and what happens with the shawl, since the spoilers are all out there now, is you like build on either side of that square, and after you've done that first step, then you are going to start making into a triangle by like building out on either side, and it's going to make like a beautiful triangular shawl. And I saw clue 4 like sneak peeks and everything, and it's really a cool dip stitch technique, and I'm excited to try that one out because I think that will be a lot of fun to play with. I feel as though this has been kind of a fun thing to just pick up whenever. I think once I get into the 4th clue, I'm gonna have to be a lot more focused, and I mean even the 3rd clue, because it's a little more technique based. So we'll play around with learning that, and I'm carrying this in my little West Knits bag. So I got this bag a few years ago. It's his like shawl bag in collaboration with Hohi & Co, and I actually really love this bag, and it's kind of cute because it matches like the yellow in my project, so it worked out really well for this one. And I hope to have that done by the end of November, but if it doesn't happen, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with this project kind of lingering on, because it's just been fun to make, and I'm not like pressuring myself to finish it in any length of time. I think I've learned that about myself, is that like this knitting journey has really been therapeutic for me, and I've really enjoyed the process of knitting, and I don't want it to become something where I'm like checklist, like have to get it done, because then it just becomes more stressful and not as enjoyable. So yeah, I'm all right with that. And the next thing that I've been working on was spinning. And so I bought this beautiful neon roving from my local yarn store called Leelanau Fiber. They're based in Suttons Bay, Michigan. It's a beautiful community right on Lake Michigan, and the yarn store is so awesome. I'm friends with the owner, Diane, and she has a beautiful store. I hope to give you all a tour of it sometime soon, because she has so many lovely yarns, and she's been such a great person to have as a close friend. She has like local knit nights and Zoom groups, and it's just a lot of fun being part of her community. So I went to a trunk show she had with Supernova Dye Works and bought this Tarhi wool, and it was in a bunch of fun neon colors. And what I did is I spun 2 bobbins full of it by splitting the roving in half, and I just did it in rainbow order. So I did like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and then I would just keep spinning, and I would add those colors and go in that order all along the bobbin. And then I did another bobbin the same way, but I think I worked backwards. So I did like purple, blue, or the backwards of the rainbow. And then what I did is I spun those 2 bobbins together to get a 2-ply yarn. And what was really cool is because I was doing it pretty haphazardly, just doing a little purple, then a little blue, then a little, it created this really beautiful yarn, and you can see the colors and how they meet up. And the whole bobbin isn't like perfectly ombre'd. As you go into this bobbin, it becomes completely randomized. But it's so cool to see the way the colors met up, and it was really fun to ply with color because it's almost like this rainbow lollipop forming in front of your eyes, and it was so much fun. And this kind of created a really nice, I would say almost sport weight, close to DK yarn, and it's quite even. So I'm really proud of myself because this is really the second time I've plied ever in my life. So I was like, you know what, it's not perfect, but it's really pretty and I'm excited about it. I have no idea what I'm gonna make with this yet. I was thinking just like a simple scarf or like asymmetrical shawl would be really fun, just to see all the colors knit up. I think it'd be important for me to like knit it up sooner rather than later, because I'll learn a lot about seeing the way in which this spins up. So yeah, I really want to play with that soon. So that was my spinning, and I have the Ashford Kiwi 3 spinning wheel. I bought it from Leelanau Fiber, and I've been loving it. I realized early on that I wasn't oiling the machine enough, and I didn't really understand why it was making all these squeaky sounds, and I was like, oh no, there's something wrong with it. But then I realized that it was only because I wasn't oiling the machine enough. So if you're new to be spinner, make sure you oil your machine and all the little parts that they say. It's really important. And then also take off your cord after each spin, because that will stretch out, and they're not inexpensive, so I think it's important to do that. You'll get a better spin every time because it's not under tension all the time. So yeah, that was really fun to spin, and now I'm working on spinning some Shetland, but I realized it's quite rough on my hands to spin the Shetland wool that I got from the Michigan Fiber Fest. So I'm thinking that I might switch over to something else. So I'm playing with some ideas. I am going to the Sleeping Bear Dunes Fiber Retreat next week, and I'm so excited about this. I would love to film some of it to share with you, so I think I'll do a video on that as well. And I am going to be taking some spinning classes with the woman who wrote the book Yarn Texture. So I'll be sharing that book soon, and all the things I learned from that retreat. So I'm looking forward to it because I've only taken one spinning class, and that was at my local yarn store, Lila Fiber. But I realized that I would really benefit from more classes and more experience. Like, I already learned so much, and I feel like I'm learning it quickly, which is exciting. It's coming naturally to me, which is important because I only have so much time to dedicate to all the things I do. And so to be able to pick it up and have success has been really nice, because it's not always the experience with trying something new for me. So yeah, that's been great. I'm gonna share the next new project I've been working on, and that is my porcelain sweater. So I discovered this pattern through a podcaster I watch, and I was really excited about this color work sweater. So I don't have color ink, but you can see here, it's a beautiful sweater with pattern and color work going along the body of the sweater, and then also the sleeves. So I bought a lot of yarn from Rhinebeck, but not for this specific project. I didn't find anything while I was there. So I had some yarn in my stash because my stash is ever growing. And the yarn I have is this Moondrake fingering yarn. So I bought this for the pressed flowers sweater as like the base color, and I got very frustrated with that project. Mosaic knitting is not for me. So I was like, this is a great base color for the sweater. And then last year at Rhinebeck, I purchased this beautiful fingering weight rose gold, they called it. I think it's more of like a caramely brown color to go as the color work part. So I casted this on like 2 days ago, and I'm really excited about the way in which the colors are working together. So I think it's gonna be a really beautiful sweater to wear. I realized I was reading the chart wrong. I'm relatively new to color work and charts. Charts work for my brain, but I had to yank out some and frog a little bit today, and that's all right. I feel like I understand what I was doing wrong, and half of the time, if I don't know what I'm doing wrong, that's the most frustrating part. So being able to like learn what I was comprehending wrong in a pattern, I think is the most important. So like, don't get discouraged when something is hard to understand. I think the best thing you can do is just try to ask for help, reread it, and then once it clicks, it's just like magic, and you're like, okay, we can start again. So your project should be fun and enjoyable. So yeah, so that's the newest sweater I'm working on. I'm really looking forward to starting to finish up some of my old projects. So I made a list, and these are all the current whips I have on my needles right now. So I have the Dragon Lore shawl, which is a really cool shawl, and I really do want to get that one done. So I need to just pick it back up and start working on it, but it's hard when you have so many other fun projects to focus on. So once I can kind of get that started again, I'll be happy to do so. I also realized that the new loom I purchased, I'm gonna have to do some research on how to set it up. so that way I can start a weaving project again, because I just finished my table loom project I've been working on for about 10 months. So I thought I would share that today with you. So give me a minute, I'll go grab it and I'll be right back. So here it is. I am absolutely thrilled with the way this turned out. So I created this design myself. So I started with looking at the 8 harness book for weavers and picking out motifs that I really loved and then kind of putting them together. So here you can see there's triangles, but then there's also like little tulips and then the triangles again. And then I go through a banner of florals and then little trees that are upside down here and then a floral again. And then I repeat that stripe. So as you can see, like what's happening here happens here. So it's like a pattern that's developing. And then I went through a banner of some brown and then into a waffle weave texture, which waffle weave is probably one of my favorite textures. And I think this is my first time weaving it, and I just loved the way it came out. So I did a banner of that, and this took so long to do. I think that's what dissolved a lot of my time throughout the 10 months I was working on this project, because I just realized how tedious it was. And because when you're doing something on a table loom, you have to physically move each of the 8 harnesses to create your pattern. So it takes a lot longer than when you're on a floor loom and you can just hook up your treadles. So like if you press 1, 2 goes down 2 or whatever it is. So you're like manually kind of like, it's like you're dialing on a telephone, like every single shuttle. So it takes a long time. And that was okay. I just became a little bit burnt out from this project because of that tediousness, and I wouldn't work on it all the time because of the level of focus it entailed. So then I went into a section of just plain weave with the pink. And I was actually quite happy with the way this turned out, just because it was like a break of all of the pattern that was occurring. And since this is a table runner, I know that in this, where this hits on my ottoman is where my flowers are, like my flower bowl is and vase. So it's like, this will be a nice like place for those to rest because they're pink roses. And then I went into the waffle weave again and then repeated those borders that you saw on the other side. So this color palette is to match with my living room. It was really exciting to work on something for my own home. My husband and I purchased this home about 2.5 years ago, and I did all the interior design stuff myself because I used to work in interior design and it's one of my passions. And the color palette of this is to match with our living room, so you can kind of see it matches with all the decor you see behind me. So once this is not a really mess at the ends and I twist the ends and do some finishing and cleaning up of it, it's going to live on my credenza. So I'll share that once it's done. I'm not in a rush. I'm just happy it's off the loom. It was a really exciting project. I think it's something I'll have forever. It could also be a scarf or shawl. So it's like multi-use if this isn't like the interior design we use forever. So yeah, I was really excited about the way that weaving project came out. I think that weaving is a really exciting way to use pattern and color, and I think what draws me to knitting and weaving is like how you can use color work in so many different ways to create patterns. So I think it would be really exciting to create my own color work designs in knitting in the future. So that's something that I do have a goal of. I think for now I want to just focus on weaving and creating my own patterns with that, and then knitting is more of not as much my artistic direction, but more of my exploration of just playing with yarn and color and texture. So I think that next week I'll have some progress on my sweater to share with you. And then I'm going to be going on the retreat, which I'm very excited about. My tessellated sweater is on the blocking mats right now. I wore it at Rhinebeck for the whole week that I was on the East Coast, and I was like, I didn't get a chance to block it before we left for the trip. So I'm actually really excited to be able to have it blocked and then wear it. These things soften up and become more of what they're meant to be when you do that whole process. Next week I will also work on trying to finish the socks I've been working on since last Christmas. I have a lot of sewing to do for Alyssa Brand Embroidery, my embroidery business today. So I just wanted to pop on and chat for a little bit. Another thing that I just wanted to share that I really love using, because to me, like, tools are second to none when it comes to making. I love a lot of the things I've purchased from Cocoknits, and this maker's board is probably one of my all-time favorites. It's a portfolio basically that folds up like this. So like imagine just like a notebook with no notebook in it, and it has a magnetic side here and a magnetic side here, and it has rulers, and then you can basically take your pattern and then with magnets kind of clip it to your board, and then you can mark things off and where you are. And I have another one that just lays on my desk all the time with all of the things I'm inspired by. You can purchase these little magnets in different colors, and what I love about the magnets is they're pretty strong, and once you have the magnet on there, you can then like clip your sewing needle or your tapestry needle or your stitch markers to them so they don't fall off as well, and you have everything in one place. So this board has like endless possibilities. My only complaint about the board is the fact that when you shut it, your magnets will move around because it's magnetized on the other side. So I think one solution to that could be taking out the magnetic board from one of the sides, so when you do close it, you're not having that happen. So I think that's like an easy solution to that issue. Julie Weisenberger, who designs all the Cocoknit tools, I would say like if there's one that I've purchased that I love the most, it would be this board. It's just extremely useful, and I just think that like for any type of maker, like, or just anyone, like it doesn't even have to be a knit, someone who knits that uses this. You can put notes and sticky notes and to-do lists on the board. So it's a really great design tool. And then I would say the other favorite one of her products is this bag here. I forget exactly what she calls these bags, but you purchase the handles separately and then you attach them by just like tying them on yourself. So it's kind of, it's like fun because you're like becoming part of the process of like creating this bag for yourself. And the fabric itself is this like paper textured fabric, and it just gets like softer as you use it, which is really cool. And then I love putting like pins on mine. So this is my wool lover pin here. And then on the other side, I have my Rhinebeck pin from last year. And what I've done is like I've purchased new handles for this. So one thing I love about it is like once the handles are kind of worn out and you're not as like happy with the way they're working for you, if you want to, you can purchase new handles for the bag and attach them. It also has great pockets on the inside and then also the outside. So I have two of these, and one I use for all my works in progress. So I put all my whips in one bag. And then this one I use for like rotating projects. It fits quite a bit of yarn, so I'll just try to like tip it so you can see. So I have about 4 skeins in here, and then also a 5th color skein. So yeah, and it's quite easy to carry. I was carrying this as a handbag for a while. I think it's called the Craft Caddy. So yeah, absolutely love that bag. So thanks for joining me today. I really hope that you enjoy seeing some of the things I'm working on. Again, I will share on Wednesdays going forward, so please subscribe if you've liked the content. I hope to just continue to share all the things I'm spinning, knitting, and weaving on, and then also get to share some of my Alyssa Brand embroidery work in the future with all of you. So I hope you all have a great week and happy knitting.